Good evening and welcome to the kitchen table on Radio Fodder. We begin tonight by acknowledging the Wurundjeri and Boonwurrung peoples of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which this program is being broadcast, and pay respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. We recognise First Nations peoples as the first storytellers, poets, and artists to practice on this land and intend for tonight's program to continue respectfully in this tradition. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Good evening and welcome to the kitchen table. It's 5 minutes past 6. I'm your host Eva and with me is...
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for turning my mic on.
Oh, whoops. Oh my gosh. We have so many microphones in here you wouldn't believe. Potential for future guests. Something we haven't sorted out yet.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay. Tonight about spring.
Spring.
Or
I know.
as Hugo put it.
Seeds and sprouts. Spring has sprung, so they say. We are 15 days into spring, so it is old news, well and truly. But tonight on the kitchen table, we are just gonna have a bit of a chat, a very loose, casual chat, I must say, about seeds and sprouts.
Yeah, riffing on beginnings and growth and unfurling and warmth.
I'm finding myself waking up in the morning, sunlight pouring into the bedroom window, a blue sky outside, and I'm just like, I'm feeling uplifted. I don't know about you.
I love it. It's hitting me in the afternoons where the wind is no longer biting, and there are just these moments, half-hour periods where even if it's been a grey day, there'll just be like half an hour of sunshine and warmth, and I skip down pavements with my headphones on, and I'm just...
You skip.
Yeah, I've been skipping. I've been skipping specifically to the song that we played first for our listeners tonight, which was Once I Had a Love, aka the disco song, which I'm sure people recognized it. It's, if you haven't lived under a rock, you would know Heart of Glass, the 1978 hit from Blondie, but it's a different version to, the very tech one we all know. It's an earlier rendition. The song was like germinating, and I thought of it because, we're talking about seeds and sprouting, and this Heart of Glass was this idea that they had. It was one of the first projects Blondie created together, but it sat in the works for 4 years, and they kept trying different styles, and this was one of them. It was a kind of more reggae, slower groove, but people just weren't into it, and they tried different styles, more rock, until I think Mike Chapman came along and helped shape it into the hit that everyone knows. But discovering this version, which in 2001, recently, it has epitomized this like bouncy, hoppy groove feeling I've been getting in the afternoons when the sun comes down and spring, and also because it unfurled into such a marvelous hit. I just thought it encompassed all our themes of tonight.
Oh, that was so fantastic. Just absolutely on theme right there, Eva.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, I love that song, and I think it is so fresh and so funky because we know the hit, the single, Heart of Glass. So,
and which is in itself such a great song. I think that was one of my first favorite tracks when I started really seriously listening to music. The original.
Oh, it's good and good nonetheless. Thank you. And with the kitchen table being the name of our show, we ought to have some food this evening.
For rudimentary spread. A bit of a rustic springtime.
Rustic. You're full of good words this evening, Eva. Rustic is a great way of describing this one. I feel like we might have been letting the folks at home down in the last few weeks. We've had meals. But
this is not like the kitchen table of a king or a queen or some aristocracy. We're at a uni student kitchen table. Let's keep that in mind, folks.
That's right. Anyway, would you like to introduce what we're having this evening?
Yes. Well, when you themed this episode seeds and sprouts, my mind immediately jumped to this loaf of bread, which when I was a child was the bane of my existence. Mum and Dad would get it from, the local bakery on weekends, which was when we got the nice loaf of bread, and it was sprout and seed. We weren't allowed sourdough. We got sprout and seed.
Sprout and
dark,
seed.
nutty, filled with healthy grains, bursting with nutrients and rich earthy flavors that to me as a child was just disgusting. And the warm smell of bread would come into the house when they would get home from the shops, and there'd be the rustle of paper bags and like maybe the potential of a gingerbread something. And no, there'd just be this black, like, stolen log of sprout and seed bread, which I hated.
I find it incredible that you dreaded the smell of freshly baked bread.
And now it's like my favorite loaf. A slice of that warm bread, that seedy bread with butter, is everything to me.
Well, you've probably been taught well.
Yes, I have been, but so it's a relationship that's come a long way. The sprout and seed loaf.
I mean, you could really take it to the nth degree with the whole sprout thing then. You could get your seed and sprout loaf, and then you could get some alfalfa sprouts, and you could just have a full-on sprout sandwich.
Most definitely. And with seeds in mind, we could have on it your mustard seeds.
Oh, fantastic. Good segue. Yes. I bought this jar of, just a plain old jar of mustard, but it's like I had been scraping the bottom of the old jar for like a week.
Oh, that's tragic.
And now there's a brand new crisp jar of mustard seeds, like pickled mustard seeds in the fridge.
How big?
Oh, I mean, it's not
just a normal small
nothing
jar.
remarkable.
Okay.
It's really rather small, but like it's probably like a month worth of sandwiches. So I am truly exhilarated. Now I can lather it on as thick as I want. So yeah, wow. Yeah, the kitchen table, we're just kind of devolving to just like a sandwich appreciation show.
But like an open sandwich I'm getting tonight. We've just got okay, your recipe for tonight, folks. A slab of sprout and seed loaf, a thick layer of seedy mustard, and then your alfalfa sprouts on top.
I mean, that sounds pretty gourmet if you ask me. I would enjoy that.
Yes. All right. Well, after that riveting discussion of food, I think we should move on to some music for our listeners. And I'm going to start tonight by talking about an album that just sounds like spring to me for many reasons, and that's Joni Mitchell's Blue. So this was her song California, which is probably the song most of our listeners know best from Joni Mitchell, was one of the songs in the first playlist my dad ever made for me when I was 8. And so it really kickstarted my relationship with music. Then I got this album. It was my first vinyl. It was given to me on my birthday, which is in spring, about 3 years ago. And also just the strumming and the music, the flitting melodies in this album just make me feel like growth and energy and revitalizing. Everything about it is just warm and springy to me. So without further ado, I'm going to play All I Want, which is the jolly first tune on this album. Let's hear it.
Traveling, looking for something, what can it be? Oh, I hate you some, I hate you some, I love you some. Oh, I love you when I forget about me. I wanna be strong, I wanna laugh alone, I wanna belong to the living. Alive, alive, I wanna get up and drive, wanna wreck my stockings in some jukebox dive. Do you want to dance with me, baby? Do you want to take a chance on my mind seesaws. Do you see, do you see, do you see how you hurt me, baby? So I hurt you too. Then we both get so blue. I am on a lonely road and I am traveling, looking for the key to set me free. Oh, the jealousy, the greed is the unraveling. It's the unraveling, and it undoes all the joy that could be. I wanna have fun, I wanna shine like the sun, wanna be the one that you wanna see. Wanna knit you a sweater, wanna write you a love letter, wanna make you feel better, wanna make you feel free. Wanna make you feel free, I wanna make you feel free.
You are at the kitchen table with Hugo and Eva, listening on Radio Fodder. This evening we're talking about sprouts and seeds, springtime, and you just heard All I Want by Joni Mitchell. Feel free to follow us on Instagram if you'd like to know more about what we're up to at the moment. Our handle is at thekitchentable.radio.
It certainly is, Hugo. What did you think of that? I love All I Want. It's the perfect start to this album that just takes the notion of growth and want and chasing uncertainties to happy places and sad places. I mean, she's got a song in this album called Little Green, or just, Little Green, which possibly I could have played on theme with sprouts and seeds, but it's actually a sad song about not being able to raise a child that she gave birth to, and she gave it away. But yeah, throughout this album, Joni really takes... actually, maybe I should call her Mitchell. I was sorry for this diversion, but I was reading an article recently about how people tend to use the last names of male artists and politicians and figures, recognized figures, instead of their first names, which is something
good distinction.
I've noticed that I do occasionally. So Mitchell, spring is and unfurling and growth and chasing her desires are all just so evident in this song. I love some of the things she lists that she wants. She wants to shampoo her lover. And yeah, that's just a gorgeous first song. It's so
it's beautiful.
The strumming as well is just so exciting and uplifting, and her jumping melodies. Another song on the album which has a similar dancey, flitting energy is Carrie. So let's hear that.
The wind is in from Africa. Last night I couldn't sleep. Oh, you know it sure is hard to leave here, Carrie, but it's really not my home. My fingernails are filthy. I've got beach tar on my feet, and I miss my clean white linen and my fancy French cologne. Oh, Carrie, get out your cane. Carrie, get out your cane. Put on some silk. I'll put on some silk. Oh, you're a mean old daddy, but I like you. Come on down to the Mermaid Cafe, and I will buy you a bottle of wine, and we'll laugh and toast to nothing and smash our empty glasses down. Let's have a round for these freaks and these soldiers, a round for these friends of mine. Let's have another round for the bright red devil who keeps me in this tourist town. Come on, Carrie, get out your cane. I'll I'll go to Rome and rent me a grand piano and put some flowers around my room. But let's not talk about fare thee wells now. The night is a starry dome, and they're playing that scratchy rock and roll beneath the maplum moon. Come on, Carrie, get out your cane. Get out your cane. Put on some silk. I'll put on some last night I couldn't sleep. Oh, you know it sure is hard to leave you, but it's really not my home. Maybe it's been too long a time since I was scrambling down in the street. Now they got me used to that clean white linen and that fancy French cologne. Oh, Carrie, get out your cane. Get out your cane. I'll put on my finest silk. Go to the Mermaid Cafe, have fun tonight. I said, oh, you're a mean old daddy, but you're out of sight.
That was Carrie from Joni Mitchell's album Blue. Another wonderful springtime dancey, just the upbeat nature of that guitar strumming, that out of pocket, just something about it that
there's definitely a blue sky, like no pun intended for the album title. There's a blue sky.
Well, the blue that in the album title is a bit of a sad blue.
Yeah, maybe it's the duality of blue.
Ooh.
The uplifting and the not so.
Yes, definitely. It also, that song makes me dream about traveling to Greece, because it's about being in Greece in the Mermaid Cafe. But thinking about Joni Mitchell also made me think of, we've talked on the show before about the gift of giving music to other artists and artists covering things that they're in, and being inspired by the work of others. And Aoife O'Donovan is an example of an quite modern artist who's been very inspired by Joni Mitchell. I was reading an article about an album of hers that I've listened to recently, and this article talked about how she taps into the propulsion of prime Joni Mitchell, which is a restless mind bouncing against the blur of one's surroundings, which is that energy and that liveliness and that excitement in Blue, that album. I feel like it's then transposed into this song by Aoife O'Donovan that I'm going to play for you soon. But yeah, she references the album Blue a lot. Her title track is called Flight, and is about an impulsive trip, which is something that All I Want is about, which I played for you earlier. And this song I'm going to play contains the same exploiting creativity, but with with Joni Mitchell and her music. I think you'll be able to pick up all the thematic and melodic references throughout this song. Here we go.
Ooh, let's take a ride. I know you love the Taconic at twilight. Go east on 23, past the farms and the festival memories. Listening to the dawn in the age of apathy, when nothing's got a hold on you. If you need someone to hold, you can hold me. Under the shade of a quaking aspen tree, we came for New England's party, but the colors haven't started, so it's just you and me. When did you start to change? Was it somewhere up along the coast of Maine? We drove back down to 95. We got stopped at the border, but oh, to be born in the age of apathy, when nothing's got a hold on you. If you need someone to hold, shade of a quaking aspen tree. We came for New England's party, but the colors haven't started, so it's just you and me. Hold me like you held me on the day the towers fell, when we stumbled over to the Christian Science Center. So at the end of the beginning, all I remember is the singing and the music trying to drive away the fear. Somewhere down the line, I let go around 2009 hands. I guess it's one that no one understands. Still plays my old man, is a singer in the park. He's a walker in the rain, he's a dancer in the dark. Only the piece of paper from the city hall, keeping us tied to that old man, keeping it away.
Good evening. You are listening to The Kitchen Table. It's 6:30, and that was Aoife O'Donovan with Age of Apathy,
Beautiful.
echoing the themes and melodies and ideas of Joni Mitchell with the notion of spring, time, and growth in mind. Now, Hugo, what are your song choices for tonight on that
It's
theme?
my turn. Yeah, look, when I think I can't help myself. I've already talked about Blue Skies
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
at least twice this evening, and I guess it must just be on my mind. So I was kind of racking my brain a little bit
Mhm.
when I was thinking about spring and kind of what the music that sprouts and seeds embody, and I didn't have to go very far until I thought of the classic hit by the Beatles, Here Comes the Sun.
Of course.
It's such an upbeat tune, and the title and subject matter like match to a T, and it's just a very uplifting and optimistic kind of springtime song, I suppose. It was written by George Harrison for the 1969 Abbey Road album. But I'm not going to play the Beatles version this evening. I'm actually going to play a cover by Nina Simone. And I realized that I did this last week as well.
You love your Nina Simone covers.
I know, I do. I do also like things that Nina Simone has written herself. I don't just listen to her as a cover artist. Although I just couldn't get past this, and I just desperately wanted to have a listen this evening. So with that being said, let's get right into Here Comes the Sun by Nina Simone.
Here comes the sun, little darling. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. It's alright. Here comes the sun, little darling. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. It's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold and lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since you've been here. Here comes the sun, little darling. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. It's alright. Little darling. darling, the smiles are returning to the faces now. Little darling, it seems like years since you've been here. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, feels like years since you've been here. Here comes the sun. I'm glad to see it. I see it. It's alright.
You're listening to The Kitchen Table on Radio Fodder. That was Nina Simone covering Here Comes the Sun. I think, you know, when I was talking about the optimism that this song embodies,
Yes.
I realized that it's probably the original track that has the really kind of like skipping down the pavement-esque
Yeah.
tune. And I think Nina Simone takes a much more kind of controlled approach, but it is incredibly rewarding nonetheless.
Definitely.
And a song that I do really enjoy.
That control you talk about always reminds me, it makes me think of her voice of like a yawning cat, that like little feline precision R
Yeah, that's an
in the
interesting
sunshine.
description. Yeah. Oh man, there's so many cats at the moment. I see like
Yeah.
walking past windows, and it's like basking in the sun. They must all be so happy with
Mhm.
themselves.
Blissing out.
Well, this evening we're talking about sprouts and seeds because spring has indeed sprung. Now I'm going to go on a bit of a tangential kind of literary segment here. Eva, we've both read Giovanni's Room.
And both written about it now.
And both done assignments on it. And there was a concept that some of our discussion around this text kind of was brought to our attention, which I'll read in a segment in just a moment. But it kind of ties in with this idea of seeds and sprouts, although it's a much less optimistic and joyful, or kind of, there is much less reassuredness in the process.
Right.
So I'll read it and we'll have a bit more of a chat, shall
Mhm. Let's hear it.
I began, perhaps, to be lonely that summer, and began that summer the flight which has brought me to this darkening window. And yet, when one begins to search for the crucial, the definitive moment, the moment which changed all others, one finds oneself pressing in great pain through a maze of false signals and abruptly locking doors. My flight may indeed have begun that summer, which does not tell me where to find the germ of the dilemma, which resolved itself that summer into flight. Of course, It is somewhere before me. Locked in that reflection I am watching in the window as the night comes down outside. It is trapped in the room with me, always has been, and always will be. It is yet more foreign to me than those foreign hills outside.
Beautiful reading. And
Thanks, Eva.
slightly, a much darker sort of seeding.
It is.
Seeding
it is.
of doubt almost.
Yeah.
And
So we're talking about that germ of dilemma,
mhm.
which is interesting to conceptualize as a kind of seed. So a bit of context. This is a passage from very early on in the novel, but the text itself is about the protagonist David, who is queer identity, and also is living in a foreign place, and is kind of caught in this perpetual cycle of intimacy giving rise to loneliness and kind of self-loathing, and there is a kind of spiral involved.
Yes, very much.
A kind of a cycling back between a heteronormative relationship and a homosexual one that is like the cause for really significant kind of identity crisis, you could possibly say.
Yes, and lots of patterns.
Yes, yeah.
Patterns of oppression of his own sexuality and identity, just continually.
Yeah. So David is kind of continually searching for, as he describes it, the germ of the dilemma, this kind of problem that he feels to have, that he is ultimately unsuccessful in identifying, and it makes for quite a tragic read, although it is a really moving book nonetheless. So that's an interesting thought, an interesting conceptualization of seeds and sprouts, and it's a bit off the kind of track that we've been taking this episode. With that in mind, I'm going to play a song now, which I think embodies a lot of the dynamics going on in Giovanni's room. Eva, you speculated that it might have been a fairly angsty interpretation.
Yes, definitely.
But I just couldn't go past this. Once this thought entered my mind, I just had to go with it. I'm talking about song by Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart. You're at the kitchen table listening on Radio Fodder. I'm Hugo, joined with Eva.
That was fantastic. That was such an angsty, like, retelling of Giovanni's Room. I sort of pictured them as both too cynical to have an appreciation for music that would be any sort of punk or like something that isn't classical music. So this would be like the angsty teenage 2009 retelling of them with their headphones in their rooms, some emo dark long hair.
Okay, I definitely accept that it is aesthetically completely inconsistent with the text. But I just like that phrase, "Love will tear us apart." Like that could be the subtitle of Giovanni's Room, as far as I'm concerned. Without giving, too much away, I feel like that's kind of what happens in the book.
Tears them apart, like from each other,
multiple times.
Tears themselves apart.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a bit of context on that one. That was, of course, Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division. It was written by Ian Curtis about his own marital problems and also his struggle with epilepsy. It was released in 1980 posthumously, actually, in the month after Ian Curtis died, after taking his own life, quite tragically. So it really does have a kind of absolutely devastating edge to it, that track, and it remains today like one of the most moving kind of post-punk tracks that there is out there. As a little side note, it's interesting to consider this kind of alternative form of sprouting or germination or kind of growth, the one that we don't typically associate with the optimism of spring and the blue skies and the birds in the air, the growth of
pathogens.
Or just the kind of, the more bittersweet or kind of, I'm searching for a word that isn't there. It's kind of, or even just purely devastating. But this kind of, this growth, we see it in Joy Division. After the death of Ian Curtis, the band members then kind of grow into the other band, New Order, and a kind of interesting kind of seed sowing germination process that is so unlike the joyful spring, doctrine.
Sort of forced recalibration. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
beautiful.
thanks.
Beautiful, Hugo.
You're listening to The Kitchen Table on Radio Fodder. And let's jump into some more music, shall we? The next track that I've got picked out for this evening is a much more metaphorical, I think I could say, interpretation of seeds and sprouting. Definitely sprouting more so, I'd say. I've got a track by the Stone Roses coming up. It is, in my opinion, one of the most fantastic crescendoing opening tracks to my knowledge. It's a great, you'll hear it now. It's the opening sequence is such a beautiful building. It's a germination that I picture could be in the background of a time lapse of a seed sprouting. That's enough rambling. Let's hear it. I want to be adored. You are listening to The Kitchen Table on Radio Fodder.
Or as many of the various interpretations, I want to be a dog. I want to be a door.
I want to be a dork. Yes, yeah, it's not very well enunciated. Yeah, I don't know why. I just had to pick that for Sprouts, and yeah, like I said, I can totally picture that opening kind of very lengthy crescendo as each instrument is kind of slowly layered upon each other, as just like such a great kind of sonic description of something sprouting, germinating, growing.
I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, should we hear one more song this evening, Eva?
I think we should. And we're going to play a song that we both love from Everything But the Girl, Night and Day. It's a cruisy, groovy little number, which just really, I feel like it encompasses that the kick of energy you get on an evening about like 5 p.m. when you're alone with your thoughts and it's just warm and summer's approaching and it's just happy. So let's hear it.
Night and day, you are the one. Only you beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you night and day. Day and night, why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? In the roaring traffic's boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you night and day, night and day. There's an oh such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and this torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you day and night, night and day. Such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and this torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making love to you day and night, night and day. This torment won't be through night and day, until I spend my life with you night and day, day and night.
Was Night and Day from Everything But the Girl, a quiet, unassuming little number that I often forget about until it comes onto one of my playlists. It's often just somewhere in there and it fills me with a sort of happy, bouncy springtime feel, which has been our theme for tonight.
Absolutely. I think now as we continue into the 16th, 17th, 18th day of spring, I'd like to take that jolliness with us.
Right? There's a positivity that we've talked about for most of this episode.
Yeah.
I think we're hoping for good things this spring.
Well, I hope so.
I hope our listeners are also looking forward to spring. And if you have any great springtime tracks, things that really uplift you at this point in the year, feel free to share them with us. Get in contact on our Instagram, which is at thekitchentable.radio. And we're coming towards the end of our episode.
We are. If you haven't caught up on all of our back catalogue, we have all of our episodes hosted on Spotify. You can find them through the link in our Instagram bio. This is now our 8th episode of The Kitchen Table.
It is.
And it has made for such a fun routine, Eva.
It definitely has. Best Thursday evening and possible, and hopefully for our listeners as
Yes,
well.
I
We've
hope
got
you
some
agree.
dedicated listeners. We have a little button on a machine in here that tells us how many people are listening. So for those of you who've been coming here every week, we hear you, we see you, we love you.
That's great. Thank you for listening. Well, with that being said, I think we should let everyone go home, shall we? You've been listening to The Kitchen Table on Radio Fodder, and we will see you some other time.
Well, the clock says it's time to close.